Let's begin with a radical, almost scandalous idea. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. I know the voice in your head immediately protests. It says, "But what about my anxiety, my mistakes, my bad habits? What about the feeling that I'm always falling short?" We live in a world that is obsessed with self-improvement, a culture that constantly tells us we are a problem to be solved, a project to be completed. We are always chasing a future, better version of ourselves who is more disciplined, more enlightened, and finally, enough. But what if that entire project is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of who you are? Today, we are going to explore the profound, playful, and deeply liberating wisdom of the philosopher AlanWatts. This is not a guide to fixing yourself. It's a guide to realizing you were never broken in the first place. We will journey through the great illusion that keeps us trapped in a state of constant striving and uncover a truth so simple and obvious, it's revolutionary. You are not a mistake. You are a miracle. One of Alan Watts's most brilliant insights begins with a simple shift in language. He said, "You didn't come into this world. You came out of it. Think about it. An apple tree. Apples. A galaxy stars. In the exact same way, the universe peoples. You are not a stranger here. A lonely ego trapped in a bag of skin, looking out at a foreign world. You are a feature of the cosmos. You are this universe experiencing itself in human form. This feeling of being a separate I is a powerful illusion." Modern psychology calls this the narrative self, the story we tell ourselves about who we are. It's a useful story, but it's not the whole truth. In reality, there is no clear line where you stop and the universe begins. You are continuous with it, like a wave is with the ocean. The wave has a temporary form, but its substance is the entire ocean. Look at a flame. Can you draw a line around it? A flame is not a static thing. It's a process, a happening, a constant flow. And so are you. You are not a noun, you are a verb, a continuous unfolding event of thoughts, feelings, and sensations. The universe did not make a mistake when it created you. It was not trying to test you or challenge you to become better. It was simply expressing itself as you. And what a unique, intricate, and unrepeatable expression you are. No one else in the history of the cosmos will ever have your exact pattern of laughter, your particular way of seeing the world. That isn't an accident. That is nature's art. So, if we are all perfect expressions of the universe, where does this constant nagging feeling of not enoughness come from? It comes from the moment we are taught the great lie that you must become someone, rather than simply be who you are. From a young age, we are handed a project. The project is called you, and the goal of the project is to sand down your rough edges, to fit into a pre-approved mold, to climb a ladder of achievement. We get good grades, we get the right job, we buy the right things. We enter the vast, multi-billion-dollar self-help industry, which is built on the single premise that you are fundamentally flawed. We are constantly striving, fixing, and polishing. But have you ever seen a flower straining to bloom? Have you ever seen a tree hurrying to grow? They just do it. They unfold according to their own inner nature, in their own time. They don't compare themselves to the other flowers. They don't feel guilty for not being a different color. We, however, have been taught that our natural unfolding is not good enough. We live in a state of constant war with ourselves. We fight our anxiety, we suppress our sadness, we judge our own thoughts. We treat our own human nature as an enemy to be conquered. But fighting yourself is a war you can never win. It is the definition of suffering. The meaning of life, as Watts so simply put it, is just to be alive. But we rush around in a great panic. as if it were necessary to achieve something beyond ourselves. Here is where the cosmic joke gets really interesting. Most of us, at some point, get tired of the project of becoming and decide to try a new project, being authentic. But the moment you try to be authentic, you've already lost. Trying to be spontaneous is like trying to fall asleep on purpose. The very effort you make prevents it from happening. Think about going to a party and telling yourself, "Okay, tonight I'm going to be relaxed and charming." What happens? You become stiff, awkward, and hyper-aware of everything you say. The harder you try to be effortless, the more effortful you become. The psychiatrist Viktor Frankl called this hyper-intention. He observed that when we make a spontaneous human experience, like happiness or sleep, the direct target of our will, it eludes us. We are so busy asking, am I being mindful enough? Am I healed yet? Am I authentic now? That we miss the very thing we're looking for. It's like a dog chasing its own tail. The chase is adorable in a way. It's the ego trying to polish itself, to finally become good enough. But the one doing all the fixing is the very illusion that needs to be seen through. Authenticity isn't a goal you achieve. It's what's left over when you stop pretending. If you feel like you've been pretending, you're not wrong. But here's the secret. You didn't invent the mask you're wearing. It was handed to you. Layer by layer, from the moment you were born, your identity was constructed from the outside in. It was built from your parents' smiles, your teachers' corrections, and society's expectations. This is what the psychologist Carl Jung called the persona. The persona is the social mask we wear to function in the world. There's nothing wrong with having a persona. It's a necessary tool. The problem arises when we mistake the mask for our real face. We become the good student, the responsible employee, the caring parent. We play these roles so well that we forget we are the actor underneath. And then one day, maybe in a moment of quiet crisis, you feel a deep existential tiredness. A feeling that the life you've so carefully built doesn't actually belong to you. It belongs to the role you've been playing. When people say, just be yourself, what they often mean is, be the version of yourself that we are comfortable with. But that's not freedom. That's just a different costume. The real task is not to destroy the mask, but to simply see it as a mask. When you know it's a costume, you can wear it lightly. You can even have fun with it. Because you know that the person underneath, the silent, observing, breathing aliveness behind all the stories, was never broken and never needed fixing. It only needed to be remembered. So, what is left when you see through the illusion of the separate self, the project of becoming, the futility of trying, and the mask you've been handed? What remains is silence, the spacious, open awareness in which all your thoughts and feelings arise and fade away. AlanWatts taught that awakening is not a matter of adding anything to yourself. It's not about learning a new technique or gaining a new belief. It is a matter of subtraction. It is the art of unlearning. He used the metaphor of a muddy pond. If you want to see the clear water, you don't stir it more. You don't try to pull the mud out. You simply let it be. And with time, the mud settles all by itself, and the clarity that was always there is revealed. Our minds are like this. We spend our lives stirring the mud, trying to figure ourselves out, analyzing our past, planning our future. The practice of mindfulness, which has become so popular in the West, is the simple art of letting the mud settle. It's the practice of watching your thoughts come and go without grabbing onto them, without judging them. But most of us are afraid of that silence, because in the silence, the ego, the narrative self, has nothing to do, and it starts to dissolve. Yet that's where your true nature is hiding, not in the struggle, but in the surrender. The sky doesn't hold onto the clouds. It doesn't argue with the storm or cling to the sun. It is the vast, open space that allows all weather to pass through it. You are not the weather of your thoughts and emotions. You are the sky. And so we return to the beginning, to that strange and liberating truth. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Not as a comforting platitude, but as a deep, factual reality. You are not a broken machine that needs to be repaired. You are an unfolding mystery, a ripple in the fabric of existence, a brief, beautiful song in the great silence. When you stop the war against yourself, when you stop trying so hard to be a better version of you, an incredible relaxation happens. You begin to trust life, not because you've figured it all out, but because you realize you never needed to. There is a rhythm to things, a wisdom in the universe that flows through you when you stop resisting it. Trees don't strive to be trees. Waves don't try to crash correctly. They just are, and so are you. So, let yourself be. Let life happen through you, without your constant interference. Because once you stop chasing after some future perfected version of yourself, you will realize, with a quiet and profound sense of relief, that you've been home all along.